this Kimba?
I got Kimba!
I'm addicted to Kimba. What's a Kimba?
Hi, Kimba.
Hi there, it's me, Kimba, Radio Broadcast Season 3, Episode 3. Give it away, and we hope you will, so that we in turn can do same. In Episode 2, I Can Help, I spoke of the first Hurricane Ian benefit concert that was happening at Crazy Uncle Mike's, and in a Sunday evening, in a matter of a few hours, we managed to raise over $6,300, and we're hoping to beat that amount with Hurricane Ian benefit concert number 2. That's going to be in Davie at the Bergeron Rodeo grounds, and that is Sunday, November 6th. And whether you're in South Florida or not, you can still help out and donate if you can. And I'll tell you how to do that in the course of this podcast, which is to show how, as radio DJs, we work outside of the padded room and work into the community and help after things like this with, we hook up with cities and towns and local musicians and venues and charity organizations, all in an effort to help our neighbors, because pretty much everybody in the state was affected by the storm in one way or another. And it is part of what we do as radio DJs to help out in any way we can, whether it be MC the events, coordinate, whatever it really is needed. And I also wanted to give you a little more insight into the charity recipient of the benefit concert, which is Neighbors for Neighbors. So I wanted to let you know how they operate and what they do. And who better to explain that than the top dog, Big Cheese. And look who it is. It's Katy Marr, President and CEO of Neighbors for Neighbors. And I've mentioned it in the previous podcast, season 1, when I did the episode about the hurricanes, all of my history with Neighbors for Neighbors. But we'll do it again. It was 30 years ago that when Hurricane Andrew hit, right around this time, too. The anniversary just passed not that long ago, 30 years, and did the very first it was Neighbors Helping Neighbors, because it was on a different channel at the time. Remember,
well, it was Channel 4 was Channel 6 back in the day. So it's same station, just
station,
everybody,
everybody jumbled around, and did the very inaugural event with them after Wilma went to the studio and answered some phones with Elliot and Maggie Rodriguez, no relation. Hi, Maggie, wherever you are, I love her.
Yeah,
and
she's the best.
Also did stuff for the 25th anniversary, and here we are now, 30 years later. Now I know, especially when I did that beginning one, that you were, an infant, and Doug, who's behind the camera, by the way, he was in 2 different people still, probably. So,
yeah,
there's that. But here we are now, and we just finished the first Hurricane Ian benefit concert, which was at Crazy Mike's in Boca, and it went extremely well.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, the bands were amazing, the vibe was amazing, and the money was even more amazing.
Really, in really 4 or 5 hours, we cleared $6,300, right around there.
Yeah,
right around there. And because of my relationship with all these years with Neighbors for Neighbors, I brought them into the fold when Jimmy came up with this, Jimmy Robinette, and we were talking about who should we tie in as far as a charity organization. I immediately thought of you because of all the years we've worked together. But you can talk a little bit about what it is that you do.
Well, Neighbors for Neighbors is really probably the coolest nonprofit out there. I mean, that's a little conceited to say, but what makes us so unique is the ability to kind of step in, or as we say, connect those in need with those who can help, and whatever that means. So whether it's a hurricane or some other crisis, like Surfside, for example, or COVID, or back to school, or holiday help, so we're there all the time. But we were started as a Hurricane Andrew relief effort, and what we did worked so well, it became a full 501c3. So we've had that partnership with Channel 4 Television for the past 30 years, which allows us to spread that message of need and hope, and tug on the heartstrings of the community to get people to come together. And we have a saying at Neighbors for Neighbors that helping feels good, and it really does. And it's even more fun when you get to rock out for 4 hours.
It was true. It was a lot of fun, and it's good. Now it's going to be even longer because the second hurricane benefit concert is going to be at the Bergeron Rodeo grounds. I always say radio grounds. It's ingrained.
Yeah.
I say radio every time. And it's November 6th, a Sunday, and it's from noon to 7. And there's a slew of bands playing at this one. And different. There's some country bands. There's Mr. Nice Guy, Shadow Creek, Sucker Punch. There's Southern Blood, and then the Heart Tribute Band.
Yeah.
All day. So it's a Sunday afternoon. The first one was a Sunday evening, which I know is a school night for a lot of people. This is all day long, so I'm sure you could find your way there at some point and join us. And that was the other reason I thought of Neighbors for Neighbors, too, because I do know, aside the hurricanes, you are what your name is, Neighbors for Neighbors.
Exactly.
So it's no matter what neighbors need. And we know it's not just Southwest Florida. We know Central Florida got a lot of flooding.
Yep.
And a lot of damage. I know one of the zoos there just was able to reopen. They had to stay closed since the hurricane hit because the roads to go in were impassable, and it hit them really hard monetarily not to have any visitors. So a lot of people were impacted by this, a lot more than we think. I think we're still going to be finding out in the weeks ahead, especially places like Sanibel, where they just got access.
Yeah.
We're going to really see what happened and all of the damage.
And we're even hearing in Daytona, all the way across the state. I mean, this storm was unprecedented in its size. I mean, compare Hurricane Andrew that was about 128 miles wide, and this storm was 500 miles wide, which basically encompassed the entire state. I mean, here locally in South Florida, there were tornadoes in Davie and Cooper City. So, I mean, this was impacted pretty much everybody at some point and to different levels. And but the magnitude of outpouring of organizations, and that's where Neighbors for Neighbors really kicks into high gear, is that we team up with everybody. You know, we don't work in a silo. We play really nice in the sandbox, and we want to help connect those in need with those who can help and all of those who can help. So whatever it is, we're going to fill those needs. One of the things we're talking about the most is the mental wellness aspect and making sure that the people affected are getting the social emotional help they need.
And we even spoke to a couple that traveled from Fort Myers Beach to be at that first benefit. And she mentioned that I guess that was her husband, I'm going to assume, had to be rescued by boat. And you could tell he really didn't want to talk about it still.
Yeah. And he felt like he was lucky because he got away unscathed, and it's so funny how some people will kind of poo-poo their story because they're not as bad off as others. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that it affects everybody differently, and thank God he's okay. And he was talking about how he's carrying his Les Paul over his head so it wouldn't get wet. Whether you had a little bit of damage or a lot of bit of damage or lost everything, there are unmet needs, as we say. Yeah. And so that's what we're trying to do, is find what those unmet needs are, and that's where this money's going to go, is to help fill in those gaps. Because you got FEMA and you got the Red Cross, and they're amazing and they do really great work, but they have limitations. And so what are those limitations, and then how do we work outside of them? And
you can donate at any point to Hurricane Ian at neighbors.org.
Yeah, or even go Hurricane Ian, text to 41444, and we'll send you a link right to our page, and you can read more about it and donate right there. But every little bit helps. As a nonprofit, we have buying power, so to speak, and so that allows us to take your dollar and turn it into way more. So a lot of people want to donate goods and things like that, but right now that's tough because the infrastructure, there's no place to put them, and how do you sort them and store them and deliver them? So that's why we team up with organizations that already have that in place. So you give us the money, and then we can help them, because a lot of times they can get the items donated,
right?
But they still got to pay for trucks and gas and all that kind of stuff. So
and that was a lesson learned from Andrew, when all the clothes and all the supplies that people were kind enough to donate kind of got left out rotting in the sun because no one knew what to do with them and how to get them where they needed to be.
Yeah, and that sadly goes into that no good deed goes unpunished category. And so for that, I say, if you really do feel compelled that you want to donate, clothing and stuff like that, do it in the spirit of Hurricane Ian, but donate it locally. Find a local shelter here. There are plenty of organizations in Dade, Broward, and all around that, need clothes today for, those who are homeless. I mean, people are getting turned out and they end up with nothing too.
Yeah. It's $20.
Yep.
And then it's $10 for kids 12 and under, and it's $10 for students with an ID. And then there's a VIP that you can get in on.
Closer seating, better tables,
probably
all that kind
nosh,
of.
Little
extra
that's
goodies.
Usually what it includes. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, it's from noon to 7, Sunday, November 6th, the Bergeron Rodeo grounds. But before we finish this all up, I want the Doug story.
The man behind the camera, he came to us through my dear friend who actually owns a circus, and he was filming a documentary.
As all dear friends do.
For them, and this was up in Michigan. So I went up to Michigan to go visit. My bestie opened up her circus after COVID and all that, and I meet this guy, and I'm like, hey, I'm a producer too, and it's like, oh, you like TV? I like TV, and and then he came to work for us, and so now we get to, we've always filmed everything we do, but this is a really special thing, and it makes it even cooler. But the cooler story is me sitting here next to you, who, I mean, we're not that far apart in age, but I have listened to you on the radio since I was young Katy. Or as a baby Katy. Baby Katy, listening to baby Kimba. It's super cool because I think, it's amazing how after all these years, and living kind of like separate lives, so to speak, coming together, and that's what Neighbors for Neighbors is all about.
I'm thrilled that we are working together. I'm thrilled that we are neighbors for neighbors. And by the way, that's where you can get the tickets in advance. You will be able to get them at the gate. And do we know if the price is going to change, or they remain
No,
the
it's going to
same?
stay
Okay,
the same, but
good.
get them in advance. Save yourself the line.
Get them in advance. There's no parking fee. There's
a blanket, because within the rodeo grounds itself, there's no seating. They don't provide chairs, so you can bring your own, and bring me one, and I won't be sitting, probably at some point maybe.
And by the way, you have an extra hour that day. Now you know how you can spend that extra hour. Hours of divine music, especially if you've never seen any of these bands.
Oh, they're amazing.
They're all fantastic. You'll have a great day. You'll do something good in a smart, fun way, and not break the bank.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the best part about it, is you get to see all these great bands.
Now that's a horse. Hello. I am standing in front of the main entrance of the Bergeron Rodeo grounds, which is at the corner of Orange Drive and Davie Road in the heart of Cowboy Town, USA, where on November 6th, a Sunday, from noon to 7, we're having our Hurricane Ian benefit concert, the second one that we're having, and we would love you to join us. And by we, well, you know what? Let's get a little bit closer to the actual grounds. Well, what do you know? The radio broadcast on location, and as you can tell by the welcome sign at the Bergeron Rodeo grounds, where Sunday, November 6th, from noon to 7, we're holding the Hurricane Ian benefit concert part 2, and I'm not alone. With me is Katy from Neighbors for Neighbors. We just wanted to give you an idea of where you will be on November 6th and give you an idea of what's going to happen. The bands that are going to be playing, you've got Shadow Creek, Sucker Punch, Mr. Nice Guy, Southern Blood, and Pure Heart, which is a Heart tribute band.
Can't wait.
Right? And tickets are $20, and that's in advance or at the door. They're not going to go up if you just show up and buy them here, but we'd love for you to buy them in advance. $10 for kids 12 and under, $10 for students with an ID. There's VIP tickets available as well. There's going to be food and drink and live music all day. The music will start at noon, and it's all to help Neighbors for Neighbors help those affected by the storm.
Absolutely. And everything you buy, a little bit comes right back to Neighbors for Neighbors. So buy those food, buy them drinks.
We mentioned it before. We raised about $6,300 at the first benefit concert. We'd like to surpass that because this one is going to be a longer event. It's going to be at a bigger venue. So hopefully we get as many of you to show up as possible and help out so we can help all of those who are displaced from the storm.
So get your tickets at neighborsforneighbors.org. That's neighbors, the number 4, neighbors.org.
Look who else I found. It's Raphael, the executive director for the Cooper City Davie Chamber of Commerce. And he's going to give you a little bit of an idea of what's happening. We told you the bands that are playing. We told you kind of how to get the tickets and all that stuff. Raphael can tell you all about what's going to be happening within the rodeo grounds.
Sure. So Sunday, we're so excited to have all of you here. Come join us for an afternoon of fun. We're going to have food. We're going to have drinks. And even for those looking to, give a little more and give more back to the concept that's in hand, there will be VIP seating as well. We will have raffle tickets, raffle items, auction items. It's going to be a good time.
It is going to be a good time.
tinyurl.com/Ian benefit concert. The Q&A session is there. It does tell you that you can bring your own lawn chairs. You can't bring your own food, but you can bring your own blankets and just spend the afternoon with us. So excited again. See you all next Sunday.
Thank you for appearing from the sign.
Oh, of
wow,
course,
you really
anytime.
are the executive director. That was like a magic trick. Cool. Oh, my other car's a broom. Back so quickly. I hope you will be able to attend. And if you are not in the area, I hope you will be able to participate in some form. Thank you for being one of Kimba's herd. And thanks for listening to me, Kimba Radio Broadcast, Season 3, Episode 3. Give it away.
This Kimba's on the radio.